EA is on track to win the Worst Company in America award. Just beep that out. They're winning the Worst Company in America award for the not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's
Yeah.
usually companies only get it once for being the worst in America. EA has already broken the record for getting it twice in a row, and now
Mm.
they're up for the running for getting it third time in a row. It's kind of exciting, actually.
I wonder what contributed to that.
I wonder. Well, it started with things like SimCity having a very bad launch, and then it went on to include things like Battlefield having a less than good launch.
Mm. Yes, and
And
then all the issues that were encountered with Battlefield on top of the launch itself.
yeah, then there was that
Because
whole
it wasn't the launch itself that was bad. It was everything that ensued after that launch.
well, on top of that too, there was the whole legal issue with whoever was invested in it being like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
uh,
Lots of not happy people. What did you think of the overall release of Battlefield 4
well,
and the
it
antics?
it did have its issues, and for me playing the game, it doesn't really have any issues anymore. They've sorted out most of their problems, anyways. Uh, they probably should have pushed it back a month or two or whatever they needed to do to get it a bit more polished and ready. But I still played the game a lot and enjoyed it. So
I liked it. I played it. It broke. I still went back and played it. I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah,
I didn't have any problems with it. I mean, besides the obvious breaking every now and then, but that's life, isn't it? Isn't life breaking normally?
yeah. And I think it's going to be hard to avoid with any games coming out these days. The way the internet works and how technology is advancing, like even Titanfall, it for when it launched at 10 o'clock on, was it Monday night there, uh, couldn't connect to the games because there was so many people trying to connect at one time.
Yeah. Speaking of Titanfall, let's talk a little bit about that. What is your first honest opinion on Titanfall since you got a chance to play the beta and then also to play the release the night it came out?
Well, it is actually quite a bit of fun. It's different. It's got, in a way, it's like you've mixed up a Mech Warrior game, Battlefield, and Call of Duty into one. The shooting on foot is a lot very, or it's very much Call of Duty style. But then you've also got these vehicles, which are your giant mechs, and it mixes in a little bit of those tactics of trading shots with another one of the Titans out on the map and going with that. And then Mech Warrior, obviously, because it's got giant mechs, but it's a different style. The beta wasn't even really a beta. The game was pretty much finished at that point, so it felt like it was more of a stress test to see how it was going, give people a taste for the game, probably more publicity for them, especially with their open beta, giving people the demo to try it and see if they wanted to buy it before it came out. And the game's out, and there's lots of people playing it. I've gotten into matches within seconds. Like there's no issue finding people to play with, and it's probably going to be pretty popular.
Yeah. My question is there any like errors, any like flubs, anything breaking on it?
Uh, More so just on like day one, apparently there was some issues for Xbox where it could crash the game, and apparently there's an issue where if you get invited to a match while you're in a match and you accept that invite, it can freeze or crash your game. Other than that, there's nothing. They're fixing that, and their suggestion is leave the match first before you join your friend.
Nice. Yeah, and if you guys want to see more of that, you can check out our video on our channel as well. Um, let's move on to our next piece of news that I think is kind of interesting. We've got this item that's coming out, or already out actually, called the Roku Streaming Stick. Now, this thing retails for $69.99, which seems a little steep in comparison to Google's Chromecast, which is about $35. That is in U.S. currency, by the way. Um, and I know that for the Canadian folk, this is not such a popular piece of technology. And Crush, could you just go ahead and explain why that is?
Well, on a lot of these things, like if you think about your Wii U or your consoles where they have Netflix and then Hulu and things like Amazon, uh, right off the bat, you can't use Hulu or Amazon unless you do some internet wizardry and sort yourself out. So Netflix is really the only key thing there. As far as I know, I could be completely wrong, but when I went on my Wii U and tried to get into Hulu and Amazon, it wouldn't let me because I'm in Canada.
Hmm. Now, for all of us U.S. people, this may be another viable option to purchase rather than a console. Or let's say, for instance, you've got kids and you just want to get them out of your hair. You can just go plug this into the back of your HD TV and through the HDMI port, and basically have a streamer right there in the kids' room. There, get out of here, kid. We don't want you in here. So it's just another option, really. As far as comparisons go, I mean, they look pretty similar. The pricing's a lot higher on the Roku. They may offer a few other new channels through Roku, but I can't justify the extra $30 to get a Roku streaming stick. I mean, I know it comes with a remote, but
The remote part's
you
pretty
can use.
nice.
Yeah, that is nice, but I mean, who doesn't already have an Android or iOS phone to use as a remote anyways? If you're using this technology, because I'm sure my grandpappy or whoever out in the woods isn't going to even bother to get something like this.
Hmm.
Um, the only thing I could think of is if you do have little kids, you don't want them using your iPhone or your Android phone for a remote. You can just give them the little hokey remote that comes with the Roku stick, which is kind of nice. Um, yeah.
Well,
Uh,
with that too, you got to think like we were talking about who would actually use this. So if we think about an average household in North America, if they have kids or teenagers, there's a good chance that there's going to be a console there, which already has these features built into it. At least with the new ones. I know my PS3, it still has Netflix already on it. The new consoles will have all the other ones. So back to my Wii U, it already has Hulu, Amazon, and whatever else is built into it.
hmm.
So
Yeah, it's a good point.
who actually needs this? And then we went and off and talked about a kid in a dorm room at college who would more than likely have a laptop or some sort of computer to type up whatever projects they need to do, and it brings back the question of, well, why don't they just use their laptop or computer to go and watch these things? Because you can do Netflix right on your computer, right?
That's true. That's very good point. The other thing too that I kind of think of is, man, if I have my console and I want to play a game, it's really annoying to have my wife sitting on there watching Netflix. And I can't really necessarily tell her, "Hey, go watch Netflix on that laptop over there."
That
She's not going to dig that too much. So what I'm thinking is get one of these little bad boys, plug it into the TV in another room, and send her off on her way while I go ahead and play Titanfall.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's an option. The other thing too is, your kids are playing your Wii or whatever, and you can't watch Netflix. You're like, damn, okay, well that's unfortunate right now. So I think it's really going to open up a lot of options for people who don't want to spend another $300 or $400 on a console to put in another room just so they can watch Netflix.
Well, then this goes back to my situation in our bedroom where we have another TV. We have the Wii set up in there, which has Netflix
Hmm.
built into it. So if a person or a family has gone through a generation of consoles, and especially with whatever comes next, 20 years from now when they build the next console, um, these things are going to have it built in already.
Yeah,
And
and not to mention that TVs themselves are going to have this stuff built in too.
yeah, so
I
it's
think all of the technologies pretty much for this type of interaction is going to be built in eventually. I think.
I know there's TVs with Netflix enabled in them already, so it's I don't know, it's a unique idea, but who the hell's going to buy it?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be like the slow adapters, the people who don't really have a console. Maybe they can't afford a console, and I don't know, they can't afford a console, but maybe afford like a cheap $120 HDMI TV maybe to plug one of these in. But if you can't afford a console, you know, you're probably not running Wi-Fi at your house anyways. But I mean, I guess it could fill that segment that's kind of missing out. The last stragglers coming in.
Yeah, I think the market for it's just a lot smaller than what they might be
What if
hoping
you're not?
for.
Here's another thing. What if you're not a gamer at all? You know?
Then that would be the market, I guess. If you don't have any of it and you don't have a T, like if you've got a little bit of an older TV that still has USB ports in it, which I guess isn't too old, but if you don't have
Yeah.
consoles, you don't want to plug your computer into your TV, then you would probably be the
You don't know
person.
how to use your laptop for that. You know?
Yeah, those would probably be the people that would go out and look for one of these. Like I actually did consider a while back getting one because I thought my Wii actually died and it was just my kid that was playing with all the electronics on it, like plugging it in and stuff. It was like one of these kind of boxes might be a good idea for a place like the bedroom where we're just watching a little bit of Netflix or whatever before we fall asleep or something. But
Nice. Now, speaking of kids, do you put the toilet down, the toilet seat?
uh, yes, usually.
Okay, and I do too. And one of the things that kind of bothers me is when I wake up in the middle of the night and I go to the bathroom, and this is probably just something strange that's wrong with me, which that's okay because there's something strange and wrong with all of us. There's this feeling that I hate when I lift up that toilet seat and I sit down to relieve myself, and it's freezing cold. And this is a new establishment because I've just recently moved to North Carolina, where temperatures can get below 60, unlike Florida, and I freeze. Literally, I will freeze my ass off.
I don't know what you're talking about. Uh,
Well,
cold toilet seats is you go sit on it and get it over with.
okay, that is the normal mentality then. But I'm sure all the women out there, as well as some of us colder, high-needed men, would appreciate this. And let me just give this to you guys. I give you the fancy Toasty Tushy seat warmer. It
Yeah.
is amazing. This thing is fantastic. What you do is you actually take it, you plug it, the top half, into a wall socket, and you put the seat down, put the top down, turn it on. It has 3 settings for temperature-wise. And the next time you decide to go use that lav, it is nice and warm for your butt. And guess what, guys? This is on sale right now for the low price of $49.90 with free shipping.
It's like one of those
It's
things that you would see in
fantastic.
an on-scene TV store.
It really is. And you know what? I'm shocked they don't advertise this on TV more often. They should be advertising this on Hulu. And by the way, I don't have TV, so the only thing that I get commercials on is Hulu nowadays. Or actually YouTube too. So, but they really should advertise this because this is a really great idea.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna try to sell this to my wife and see if I can get an actual working model.
Now the other thing too is how close are people's plugs to their toilets and bathrooms because there's codes for that.
This is true. This is true. So that's a good point as well. But I do have an extension cord.
So you guys start running extension cords in your bathroom.
So I may run an extension cord to my plug just to test this out, just to see how nice and toasty my tushy is.
Uh, yeah, it's one of those ideas where I think it could have some issues. There might be why they're not advertising it as much as you would like to see, because it's one of those ideas that
Maybe.
will only work in certain places. I
Possibly.
can't see people running extension cords throughout their bathroom to warm their toilet seat.
Yeah, because you know what? In the middle of the night, you might actually trip over that extension cord, bust your mouth open on the toilet.
Crack your head on the side of
Which,
the tub.
oh yeah, broken neck, broken spine. Then you're done for, man. You are done. Speaking of good ideas, apparently mad scientists have wanted to replace solar panels with potted plants.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's like the old school science fair project where you plug your potato or lemon into a light bulb and get a little bit of juice out of it.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I don't necessarily know if it's a good idea, bad idea, or what exactly.
Oh, I might be losing you there. Oh, there
This
we go.
this looks pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's another idea. It's definitely an idea for the greenhouses, well, the houses that are trying to be off the grid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, yep.
They a lot of them. I've seen pictures of some people's houses where they've got the roof covered in grass or moss or whatever to filter the rainwater and things like that and help insulate the house. You could almost double that up and have your roof that's not only insulating your house, also providing your house with some power.
Yeah, and I don't see why that would be a bad idea because from the looks of it in this picture, it looks like they only have about, 10 plants powering an AM FM radio right there. So that's what the receiver, the circuit board, and the speaker itself.
Yep.
So that's pretty impressive that they managed to pull that off.
Yeah. And now the big question would be is what plants are more powerful than others?
Hmm. I don't know, but I hear that marijuana plant's pretty good for many things.
Yeah.
Medicinal, of course.
Uh-huh.
Always medicinal.
But if it could be adapted to like the whole moss idea, because I think that's what people are generally using to insulate their roof, because it's the right kind of plant. If you could get some energy out of that, it would add into whatever the solar panels are doing or whatever wind farm they're using, or whatever else they're doing for power. It's another little bit to tap into potentially.
It really is. And I think, the more people start working with the earth rather than trying to fight the earth and make it do what they want it to do, if we just work together with it, it could possibly turn out to be a better place.
So fight the earth.
Quit fighting Mother Earth. that,
Yeah.
that dirty wench.
Well, that has been this week's episode of Naked News. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and come check us out for more. We will have lots more news for us to talk about next week. If there's something that you're interested in seeing or having us discuss, let us know.
Yeah, leave it in the comments or, just shoot us an email sometime.
Yep. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, bye.